Hi guys, very good morning. Hope you are able to see my screen, everyone. So
Yes.
yeah, here we have Mr. Hrithik, we have Jyotish, then Debo Prasad. So one more candidate will be joining. So let him join. We'll start the class. Okay. So this session is recorded. So I request everyone to mute yourself. Okay, to avoid sudden disturbance. Okay. And if you have any questions at any point of time, okay, you can use your chat window so that I will be getting the beep sound. Okay, I will stop my session and I will be answering your questions. And or you can even unmute yourself and you can basically raise your voice, fine, so that I can stop my session and I can answer your questions. So basically, what is our agenda of today's class? See, basically, like today we'll be trying to introduce you about the architecture of your Microsoft Power BI, okay, and Microsoft Fabric. So let us understand before getting into your core concepts. Okay, let us understand the architecture of your Power BI. So what is Power BI? See, Power BI is not a unified software. Okay, it is not a single software. Fine. So basically, it is a combination of your different components. Okay. See, we have many components in a Power BI. So generally, it is an analytical tool. See, what is an analytical tool? Which is used to what you called develop certain analytical solutions. Okay. So don't worry about this. Basically, I think everyone is the first. I think you are the first. You are attending the first class. So before getting into a Power BI, see, I want to discuss you something. Now, so may I know basically your domain expertise. So I think Jyotish is from analytics. Again, he's from analytics. Okay. Then what about I think Mr. Prasad has attended my I think session, demo session. He's from sales background. What about Hirtik? So what is your domain expertise, Hirtik?
So I am from Java React background.
Okay, you are from technical background. Okay, see,
Okay.
basically, so in your industries, right, we have many domains. Like we have a retail sector, right? Okay, we have retail domain, then we have e-commerce domain, right? Okay, fine. Then we have banking domain, right? We have banking domain. Then yeah, so I think Muhammad has joined. Yeah, hi Muhammad. Yeah, very good morning. Hope you are able to see my screen and hear my voice. Yeah. So just now we started the session actually. Fine. Just now we started the session. So basically, let me know if you have any queries. You can use your chat window or you can raise your voice. So we have many domains in the industry like retail domain, e-commerce domain, banking domain. Okay. Then logistics domain, right? Logistics domain, right? Okay. Then we have healthcare domain. So if I go on talking like this domain, we have many domains, right? So every domain is having different companies. Now tell me, which is a very common parameter in all these domain? Data is a common parameter, right? So without data, you don't have any operations or activity in your industries, right? Whether you talk about retail industry, you have a data. Whether you talk about e-commerce industry, you have a data. Banking industries, you have a data. Logistics industry, you have a data. Healthcare or any industry, you have a data, right? So without data, so what we do with the help of this data? So generally, with the help of this data, okay, so basically I can perform two things. Okay. So if you have a data, okay, if you have this data, I can perform two things. One is your analytics. I can analyze the data. Okay. So another is your predictions. Another is your predictions. See, why we need to analyze your data, how we can analyze the data. See, basically, for example, you have a sales data, okay, of your particular company called Flipkart. Okay. Now, basically, your manager wants to analyze the sales of a particular product or a particular regions. Okay. See, for example, he wants to analyze the sales of a particular product in Asia Pacific region, in UK or US. Then basically what I do, I collect certain data, sales data. Then I use certain tools like your Power BI. So Power BI is an analytical tool. It's an BI tool, business intelligence tool, or I can say it's an analytical engine. Okay, the whole purpose of your Power BI is to provide certain analytical solutions. So what did you understood by analytical solution? Okay, basically, we analyze the data with the help of your data visualization elements. We create certain reports or dashboards using your Power BI, and we start analyzing your business data or business information. So we supply this sales data to your Power BI engine. Okay, and we start creating certain data visualizations. Then basically we build certain data visualizations like your bar chart, pie chart, and we tell that this is the sales over different regions, and the sales is increasing with respect to the regions. Okay, so that is we are getting certain proper business insights with the help of analytics. Okay, now see what is the prediction. See, for example, if your manager is asking, can you predict my sales, okay, after 2026. See, I know my sales till 2026, the sales is increasing, but I want to know my sales, okay, after 2026. That is, I want to know my sales on 2030. That is, I want to predict. He's asking me to predict the sales of my company in future. What will be my sales of the company in future? This is nothing but your predictions. How can you predict the data with the help of prediction technology? Basically, we call it as a predictive analytics. Generally, we call it as a predictive analytics, where basically we use a lot of what you call AI technologies, like your machine learning technologies, deep learning technologies, generative AI technologies, where we build predictive models and we start doing predictions. Okay, that is, if you have a data, okay, in any industry, okay, what we can do, we can perform with this data, we can perform analytical solutions, and also we can provide predictive solutions. We can analyze the data, okay, also we can predict the business, right? So this is the importance of your data. Now, who will do all these things basically? So there will be one candidate in your company called data scientist. Okay, so this guy basically, okay, he is responsible to provide two kinds of solution for your industry. One is your analytical solution, another is your AI solutions. Okay, so what is analytical solutions? As I told you, basically you develop your reports or dashboards. Okay, to provide certain what you call data visualizations with which I can analyze my day-to-day business activity. In AI solutions, okay, basically we start developing your predictive models, okay, with the help of your machine learning technology, deep learning technology, okay, then agentic AI technology. So all these are AI technologies which are used to provide certain predictive solutions, okay, in order to understand my what you call business information in the future. What is my business in the future? Hope you understood, right? So now basically, so the very important thing what you understand, to provide this AI solutions or analytical solution is your data, right? Is your data. Now what kind of data your industries will provide to the data scientist, okay, to do all these things? Generally, your industry, for example, when you go to your Flipkart, whenever you go to your Flipkart, they store the data, okay, on the cloud premise. Okay, generally they use Azure because it is a very highly compatible platform, because most of the AI technology is running on your Microsoft. Okay, so they prefer your Azure cloud as a cloud platform, okay, to store their raw data. So what is this raw data? Why I'm calling it as a raw data? So raw data, it is a first data that is collected by your client. So for example, Flipkart, how they are collecting the data? They're collecting the data from the mobile applications, right? So whenever they're collecting the data from the public, so whatever the data that is collected from the first time from the public, it is a raw data. It's like, for example, you go to vegetable market, so you are collecting the vegetables, right? From where vegetables are coming from, the farmland, right? So because they have certain impurities, because they have some pesticides and all, I can call it as a raw data. Yes or no, right? So they are raw in nature. Directly I can't use that for cooking purpose. Yes or no, right? So what I will do, I'll take the raw data from the vegetables. I will bring that to the home. I will put in the basket. Then I will clean that what you call the vegetables. Then I will cut the vegetables, process the vegetables. Then I will prepare a dish. The same thing here also. Okay, in your data science technologies, first we collect the raw data, okay, from your client, which is stored on your cloud. Generally, this raw data will be having lot of irregularities. There will be lot of null values, date format issues, data type format issues, missing values, okay, duplicate values. Okay, the structure of the data will not be meaningful. It won't give proper meaningful information. You won't understand what to do. Okay, so generally this raw data is a data which cannot be processed, or which cannot be directly supplied to your Power BI engine, okay, or any analytical tool or any predictive model, okay, in order to provide certain data science solutions. Data science solutions means analytical solutions or AI solutions. Hope you understood, right? Now, where you are storing this raw data, where your client will store data? On the cloud premise. How they store? Generally, they store the raw data in the form of files. In the form of files. Okay, they can store with different extensions. We have different file formats. Okay, like your CSV file format. Okay, then Excel file format, then JSON. Okay, so then parqueue, okay, parqueue file format, then ORC file format. These are all different file formats, okay, with which I can store my raw data. Then you can ask me, why, sir, this many file formats, our clients are storing? It all depends upon the complexity of the data. If you are, for example, if you are using a web application, okay, generally to generate your raw data, then most of your raw data will be stored in the form of JSON format. Okay, so 90% of your raw data will be in your JSON format. Hope you understood, right? So, or if you have very complex, messy data, then you go for parqueue format. Don't worry about these formats. We'll be discussing in future, but understand that most of your companies will store your raw data in the form of files on the cloud premise. Okay. Now, as I told you, this raw data cannot be directly used, for the what you call analytical purpose, or for the AI purpose. That is your prediction purpose. So first, what you should do, you should clean this raw data. See, if you want to clean vegetables, first what you should do, you should put that vegetables in the basket, right? You need to make your basket ready to accommodate your vegetables. Similarly, here also, you need to dump or store your files into something, in one container, okay, which is called as lake house. See, before talking about lake house, or before processing this raw data, first of all, as a data scientist, it is our responsibility to develop something called as data science project environment. Very, very, very important. What is it? Data science project environment. Okay, so what is this data science project environment? It is a place where, see, what is a kitchen? Kitchen is a place where you cook something, right? Yes or no, right? Productively, you cook certain dishes. Okay, what is the outcome of your kitchen? Dishes, right? Similarly, here also, where you have in the kitchen, you have a gas stove, cylinder, everything, that is the environment where you have different items, working together to form certain product. Similarly, here also, whenever, we want to develop certain data science solutions like analytical solutions or AI solutions, first of all, as a data scientist, you need to develop data science project environment. See, what are all there in the data science project environment? First, we will be having, one container or a storage area called lake house. What is this lake house? The name itself suggests lake house. It accommodates lake. No, see, it's not like that. See, lake is something, where you have a water, like, it is basically volatile in nature, right? Similarly, here also, generally, lake house, okay, I will write as LH. Lake house is a place or a container or a storage location in your data science project environment, which is used to store the raw data in the form of files. Raw data in the form of files. It is the only place in your data science project environment which can store the raw data in the form of files. Okay, so from where these files are coming from? You are pulling these files, you are pulling, or you are extracting these files, that is your raw data in the form of file structure from the cloud, that is from your client location. See, for example, your client location is a Flipkart, but your what do you call your data science environment is in Infosys. Okay, so basically, like your Infosys is your what do you call basically, your Infosys is your development environment. Basically, it is a what you call it is a company where it is providing certain data science solutions to the client called Flipkart. So Flipkart has given the raw data, it has given the Azure connections, everything. Then you are working as a data scientist in Infosys. Okay, you need to connect your Azure, okay, cloud. You need to connect your Azure cloud and pull the data in the form of files and directly load these files in your lake house. Hope you understood, right? Okay. So once you load these files, okay, in your lake house, problem with your data science environment or data science projects is that, okay, see, it won't understand the concept of your file format. Okay, see, for example, if you want to do certain analysis, you need to write certain SQL code on this what you call files and all, which is highly impossible. Can you write a SQL programming on this the files? So don't worry about SQL programming. So SQL programming is one of the program we call the structured query language, which is used to execute on your tables or database to perform certain analysis. But you can't do on a files, yes or no, right? That is the reason why. Okay, so we'll be having certain SQL classes. Don't worry, in future, if you are from non-IT background and all, we'll be taking certain SQL classes. But understand, it is a programming language to retrieve the data. So you can't execute that SQL on your files. That is the reason why what we do as a data scientist, will convert these files, into something called as delta tables. What is that? Delta tables. Delta tables are what do you call, these are, a table like structure. Okay, so basically, which is used to store your raw data, Okay, so why these tables are called as the delta tables? Because there are certain files called delta files. Okay, we call it a delta log files. Delta log files. What is the use of these delta log files? These files, what it is associated with these delta tables. So what is the use of these delta log files? It will record each and every operation on your table. For example, if you write certain data, it will record. If you append the data, if you delete the data, it will record whatever activities you are doing, performing on your delta tables. Okay, it will record like a watchdog. Okay, so that is the reason why these tables are called as delta tables. Because of these delta log files, these tables are called as delta tables. Apart from the nothing. So table is a place where you store your data. Now you are storing your raw data. Okay, that is, you successfully converted your raw data, which is in the file format, to the table format. Now you convert, once you convert to the table format, then you can do certain analysis. Hope you understood, right? So now what we do generally, once your raw data is in table format, it is ready for your data cleaning process. Now, as a data scientist, your work is to convert your raw data to the structured data with the help of your data transformation techniques or data cleaning techniques. Okay, the process of converting your raw data to the structured data is nothing but your data transformations or data cleaning, or sometimes we call it as a data wrangling. So generally, as a data scientist, we create certain data pipelines. Okay, we create certain data pipelines. Okay, in order to what do you call, convert your raw data to the structured data and involve in some data transformations or data cleaning process. Hope you understood, right? How you do all these things, that is secondary, again, that we'll be discussing in detail. So once you convert your raw data to the structured data, we load your structured data into something called as data warehouse. What is it? Data warehouse. Data warehouse is a place where you store your data only in the form of tables, sir. Only in the form of tables. Okay, not in the form of files. Okay, so generally you store your what you called structured data in your warehouse only in the form of tables. Okay, so whenever you have a tables, okay, in your data warehouse, we start building certain relationship between these tables. We start establishing certain relationship between tables to form something called as data model. Okay, so data model is nothing but what you called it is a combination of different tables related to each other. It's nothing but your data model. Hope you understood, right? The more efficient data model you have in your data science environment, the best you can provide analytical solutions or AI solutions to your client. Hope you understood, right? If your data model is a weak, obviously the complete project, the heart of the project is weak. Hope you understood, right? That is the reason why data modeling is a very, very important concept in your data science analytics that we'll be discussing in future. Okay. So now see, once you convert your raw data to the structured data and store your structured data in your warehouse. So data warehouse is a place where you can basically store your structured data in the form of tables which are interrelated to each other to form data model. Okay. So once you are done with your data model, that is, you have a Honeywell for your structured data. So this is a data warehouse is a repository. It is a centralized repository, or is a location or a storage area where you have structured data, where I can supply this structured data to your data analytical department. It is nothing but your Power BI department. Okay. Generally, see, in data analytics, what is the use of this data analytics department? Data analytics department is used only for the purpose of analytics, to develop your analytical solution. Develop your analytical solutions means developing your reports or dashboards. Reports or dashboards. Why we need to develop your reports or dashboards? Okay, in order to get a proper business insights. Reports is all about, group of data visualizations. I can start visualizing your business data with the help of different data visualizations. Hope you understood, right? So data analytical department, it is used to develop certain analytical solutions. It is used to develop certain analytical solutions in the form of reports or dashboards. In the form of reports or dashboards, to analyze the data to get better business decisions. Generally, in your data analytical department, we have many analytical tools like your Power BI, Tableau, QuickSense. Okay, so there are many analytical tools. Okay, but why Power BI is dominating in your industry? Microsoft Power BI has occupied 95% of your industry because of its simplicity, because of this AI capabilities, because of these rich analytical capabilities. Okay, there are a number of reasons why companies are using Microsoft Power BI apart from other tools. Hope you understood, right? So now, because of Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft has invented one more technology called Microsoft Fabric, which is an advanced version of your Power BI. Hope you understood. And now most of the companies are migrating your Power BI to the Microsoft Fabric. Hope you understood, right? Okay, in order to provide better analytical solutions. See, Power BI is an analytical product, basically analytical tool, which is used to provide analytical solution. But Fabric is more than analytical tool. Apart from analytical solutions, you can also develop AI solutions. Okay, so these and all we'll discuss further. Let us understand the architecture of your project now. So we supply this structured data to the Power BI department, okay, to develop your reports and dashboards. Okay, this is how Power BI comes into picture. Now the same thing we can supply. Okay, so see, here you are supplying what you call structured data not only to Power BI, even to your Fabric also. Just I will write F. So basically your Fabric will be there, because Fabric is a both analytical tool and also a AI tool. So apart from this, we'll supply this structured data to something called as AI department. See, what is the use of this AI department? AI department is used to provide, predictive solutions. Okay, what we do, we have something called as machine learning models. Okay, deep learning models, and generative AI LLM models. See, these are basically different AI models. Okay, which are used to do certain predictions, based on the input data, based on the structured data, whatever we are using to train these models. Based on that, it will start giving certain predictive results or predictive solutions. This is nothing but your AI department. Now, so in your AI department, I can implement all these. I can build a machine learning model, deep learning model, LLMs on your Fabric environment, which is not possible on your Power BI. Hope you understood, right? That is a limitation of your Power BI. But in your Fabric, you can develop all these solutions. Hope you understood, right? I can say your Fabric is the future of your data science. Hope you understood, right? So that is what did you understand basically, by this discussion. We have a raw data in your client location in the form of files. We are extracting that raw data in the form of files and loading that into your lakehouse. Lakehouse is a container. It is a staging area. So before you start doing what you call data transformations, before you start involving in data transformations, first what we do, we extract the data from your cloud, that is your client, and will store the data in the form of files, okay, in your lakehouse. Because files are not cannot be processed in your data science, we convert that files to the delta tables. Now your raw data is in the form of delta tables. Now we can perform certain data transformation activities, that is we can involve in some data cleaning activities to convert your raw data to the structured data. So once you convert your raw data to the structured data, so basically, we store that structured data into something called as data warehouse, okay, in the form of tables only, not in the form of files. So once you store the structured data in the form of tables, we relate these tables together. We give certain relationship between these tables, which is to form something called as data model. Once you form the data model, we supply this structured data to the DNA department, that is your Power BI analytical tool, in order to perform our analytical solutions. That is, we can create certain reports or dashboards in order to generate your reports. The same structured data can also be given to your AI models, that is your machine learning models, deep learning models, LLM models, on your Fabric environment or any other environment, okay, to provide certain predictive solutions or AI solutions. That is we are able to provide end-to-end, solutions. What is this actually? So what is this actually? This is nothing but end-to-end data science project architecture. This is nothing but your end-to-end, okay, this is nothing but your uh, end-to-end data science project architecture, or I can say fabric architecture. Okay, so excuse me, I'm talking about fabric now itself, but don't worry, please try to understand, this is end-to-end data science or fabric architecture. Okay, so basically you understand one thing. This is nothing but end-to-end data science project architecture, or I'm calling it as a fabric architecture. Why I'm calling it as a fabric architecture? Because this complete data science architecture can be implemented on your fabric tool. Hope you understand. That is the reason why I call it as a fabric architecture also. Okay, so if you want to implement a complete what you call the data science architecture, yes, you can implement on your fabric tool. Hope you understood, right? That is the power of your Microsoft Fabric. Whenever you go to any companies, they will ask you, what do you call, do you know the fabric architecture or data science architecture? How can you implement all these things? Fabric is all about implementing these what do you call that, developing these components. See how many components are there. We have, see, cloud, we have cloud, Azure cloud, right? Already Azure cloud will be there with your client, no need to worry about that. Okay, just you should get the connection details, you can connect. Then you can develop your, as a data, what do you call, fabric engineer. Okay, you can develop your lake house, you can develop your data pipelines, you can develop your warehouse involving data modelings, you can use your Power BI. Okay, so that is the reason why the first classes will be on Power BI only. Then as a fabric developer, you can develop your Power BI reports or dashboards, and also you can develop your AI solutions. Hope you understood it in future. That is, see, you understand one thing. Okay, so here lot of departments are involved in your data science project architecture, right? So tell me, what are the departments are involved? So one is your cloud computing, right? This is your cloud computing department. Then we have something called as data engineering department. Data engineering department. Okay, so which is basically, which is used to develop your lake houses, which is used to develop your data pipelines, involve in data transformations. So generally, who will do all these things? A guy with an exposure with data engineering activities. Hope you understood, right? Okay, so a data engineer, a guy having a knowledge on data engineering, he will develop your data pipelines, he will develop your lake houses, he will convert your files to the delta tables. Okay, he will be responsible to write certain coding. Okay, to write certain coding in the form of use certain what you call programming language called PySpark. Okay, PySpark. Okay, very very simple programming language, not to worry, it's very pretty easy. So we use programming language called PySpark in order to write certain small programs which are used to convert your raw data to the structured data. Okay, so who will do all those things? A guy called data engineer. Okay, a data engineer. Okay, responsibility, or all these are responsibilities of your data engineer. Then we have something called as data warehouse department. So what is this data warehouse department? It talks about your warehouses, structure data, basically it talks about your data modeling. All these, comes under data warehouse department, right? Then we have something called as DNA department, data analyticals department. It talks only about your analytics, that is your reports, dashboards and all. Then we have something called as AI department, where it talks about your different predictive models like machine learning models, deep learning models, LLMs, all these things. That is, there are many departments here. There are many departments here which are having different components, and I forgot to tell you one thing. We are pulling the data from your cloud, okay, and loading the file to your lakehouse. Who will do this? There is something called as, we develop one component called as data flow. So data flow, these are the components which belongs to ADF department, Azure Data Factory department, which is used to develop certain components called as data flows. Okay, so data flows are nothing but like ETL pipelines, extraction, transformation, loading pipelines, which will extract the data from your cloud and load the data into your lakehouse. Okay, so ADF is all about your ETL activities. Azure Data Factory, if you are from your Azure background, you can understand very easily what is this ADF. Okay, but don't worry, ADF is a very simple technology which talks about your extraction, transformation, loading. It extracts the data from the cloud, it transforms and load the data to your load house, okay, lake house. So we have something called as data flows. That is, we have different departments here which is having different components, and these components are interrelated to each other, configured to each other to form end-to-end data science project architecture. Okay, Fabric, Microsoft Fabric is all about developing these components. It's all about, okay, learning about these departments. Okay, Microsoft Fabric is all about knowing more about your ADF department, knowing more about your data engineering department, knowing more about your data warehouse department, DNA department, that is your Power BI department, AI department, how these, what are all the components are there in the departments, how these departments will interact together, where they store these objects. It's all about your Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so see, basically what I do, I will represent all these departments like boxes here. Okay, so I am representing your what do you call ADF department, Azure Data Factory department, as a one box, and also basically data engineering department as another box. Okay, fine. Then basically I will represent your AI department as one box. Okay, then basically I can represent your DNA department as another box. Okay, we have something called as warehouse department, right? Data warehouse department, okay, as another box. And also see, basically we have some another department called as what do you call database department. What is it? Database. Okay, where we deal with the n number of databases. Okay, so then because we have, yeah, so any other department we left over here apart from this, okay, with respect to your architecture. So we have data engineering, yeah, then we have ADF, data warehouse, DNA, then AI department. Yeah, so all departments are done. Now here we represented this department as different boxes in different colors. Okay, now tell me, every department is having its own objects, right? Your database department is having its objects like tables, views. Okay, yes or no, right? A database, what is a database? A database is a place where you store your data in the form of, okay, different tables or views. Yes or no, right? Okay, so basically these are the what you call the objects where you store the data inside your database. Hope you understood, right? So generally we call it as a SQL database. We call it as a SQL database, structured query language database, like your Oracle, SQL Server, Teradata, DB2, right? These are all different databases actually, so no need to worry about this. So now, so basically so what are the objects of your database? Tables, views, all these things. Then ADF, Azure Data Factory, as I told you, your data flows. Data flows are the components. Data flows, these are the components. Okay, so in your data science project architecture, data flows, these are the components, okay, which are used to extract the data, build data pipelines, extract the data from the cloud, and store this data in your lakehouse. Okay, so generally these data flows belongs to ADF department, Azure Data Factory department. Okay, now we have something called as data engineering department. So what are the objects of your data engineering department? Data pipelines, right? Then lake houses. Okay, then data transformations. Okay, all these are different objects in your data engineering department. Then AI department, we have something called as machine learning models. Okay, deep learning models, then LLMs. These are all the different objects, okay, in your AI department. Then DNA department is nothing but your Power BI. Okay, Power BI department. Okay, so basically in your Power BI department we have reports, even we have dashboards, even we have what you call data models. Okay, n number of objects you have in your Power BI. Don't worry about this, we'll explain you in the future. Now, what is data warehouse department? We have warehouses, we have data models, all these things basically, right? So every department have their own objects, yes or no, right? Now, see, previously 2 years back, okay, 2 years back, okay, so most of the companies, they used to use basically, separate databases to store their objects. Okay, so if a data warehouse wants to store their objects, it is having a separate database. DNA separate database, like this, they used to have separate databases to store their objects. Hope you understood, right? Okay, so any questions, guys? Hope you are able to see my screen, everything is clear. Any questions? Please let me know if my voice is not audible, if my screen is not visible. Hope my screen is visible to everyone. Hello. Hi, guys. Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Because I'll be in a mood to take the class. Sometimes, I won't understand whether you are able to see my screen. Suppose if you are not able to see my screen or listen my voice properly, immediately you should intimate me. I'll change the network. Okay. So now, so what I'm telling, basically every department is using different databases. Previously, I'm talking 2 years back. Okay, before invention of your fabric, they used to use different databases. Okay, so to store their objects. Okay, what is the disadvantage of this? What is the disadvantage of this? See, for example, if you want to use, okay, the report, if you want to use a particular report, okay, of your Power BI department in other departments. For example, you have a report here. Okay, so you have a report here. Okay, in your Power BI department, you want to use this report in your warehouse, you want to use this report in your AI department, you want to use this data engineering in all other departments. Okay, generally what they used to do, they used to copy this report and paste here. Okay, that is they are creating the concept of data redundancy. They are creating the concept of data redundancy. What is this data redundancy? Duplicating the data. Okay, so now there is a requirement to use the report, one report. In future I have a requirement to use 100 reports, then you start creating 100 reports again, then it will become 1,000 reports. Then where you store your data, then again you need to purchase your database, right? That is, you are increasing your cost of the project, data science projects or data analytical projects. So due to this, what happens, client will run away. Hope you understood, right? And you may projects will collapse. This is a problem of data redundancy. This is a problem of using different databases for different departments. Okay, so keeping this problem in the mind, what Microsoft has suggested to the industries, to the clients, see, don't use different databases. Don't use different databases. I will provide one unified single database called one lake. Okay, I will provide one unified single database called one lake. One lake, what is this one lake? It is a unified big data repository. It is a huge database basically, which can store all department objects together at a one place, instead of having different databases. Okay, what this one lake will do, one lake will integrate all these departments together and store all these objects, okay, together at one place called workspace. Workspace inside your one lake, you have something called as workspace. Hope you understood, right? Workspace is a container, okay, inside your one lake. It is a container inside your one lake which can store all your departments objects together. That is the reason why we call one lake as a unified platform. Unified, unified data platform. What is it? Unified data platform. Some people will call it as a all in one, okay, all-in-one unified data platform. Okay, why? Because all-in-one means all departments are there in one place. Hope you understood, right? All departments are taking rest on this platform. They are sitting on this platform called one lake, and they are storing the data, or they are storing their objects in a one centralized location called one lake. Whenever they are storing the objects on one centralized location, obviously data sharing will happen seamlessly. Data sharing will happen seamlessly, and also components can be configured seamlessly. Hope you know. Because see, once you develop, see what happens here. If you see your architecture very clearly, okay, see, once you develop your lake house, then once you develop your data pipeline and data warehouse, what you should do, you should integrate these components, yes or no, right? You should connect these components. Okay, so you should connect your lake house to the data pipeline to the warehouse. You should connect your warehouse to the Power BI, or you should connect your warehouse to the machine learning model, yes or no, right? So that is, you need to integrate these components together, configure these components together. So if all these components are stored in one location called one lake, it is very easy for a data scientist to integrate all the components, because all these basically, what you call environment is provided by which company? Microsoft, yes or no, right? So basically, you need not use different softwares to develop these objects. See, you need not use what you call data warehouse softwares, separate data warehouse softwares, separate what you call Tableau or Quicksand softwares to develop your reports. You do not use different technologies to develop your AI or AI objects or data engineering objects. Without using different softwares to develop these objects, okay, I can use one single Microsoft software, which is nothing but your Microsoft Fabric, which is nothing but your Microsoft Fabric, okay, to develop all these components and store all these components at one place called one lake. Because you are storing all these components of different departments in one place called one lake, easily these components can communicate with each other. You can configure, or you can connect these components to each other to form something called as data science project architecture. So Fabric is all about developing different department components. So you will, in your Microsoft Fabric, you will be developing database components, ADF components, data engineering components, AI components, DNA components, data warehouse components. Once you develop all these components, what do? You store all these components into one unified platform called one lake. Okay, so what happens when you store all these components in your one lake? Okay, then once we store all these components in your one lake, okay, so what we do, just I will make you to understand still thoroughly. Okay, so what you are doing, once you develop all your components, what you are doing, you are storing all your components in one lake, right? Yes or no, right? So what you are doing by storing all your components in one lake, you are trying to integrate all these components. You are trying to integrate all these components, okay, together to form something called as data science project architecture. Yes or no? This is nothing but your data science project architecture. Yes or no, right? So you are building your data science projects on your one lake. Hope you understood, right? Okay, it can be an analytical project or it can be an AI project. Hope you understood, right? So that is, whenever I'm talking about analytical project, you are using your Power BI inside your Fabric to develop your analytical solutions. That is the powerfulness of your Fabric. Okay, so that is, Power BI is one of the department. Power BI is one of the department inside your Fabric, sir. Power BI, see here, Power BI is in one of the department inside your Fabric. This is your Power BI. Okay, so Power BI is not equal to Fabric. Hope you understood, right? But Power BI is one of the department or experience inside your Microsoft Fabric, which is used to provide analytical solutions. Hope you understood, right? It is a part of your Fabric, but it is not a Fabric. So Fabric is all about uh, what you call exploring different departments, okay, building different department components together and storing them together in a one lake. Not only storing, okay, we are connecting them or configuring them to each other to form something called as data science project architecture. To implement data science project architecture, we'll be using your a powerful tool called Microsoft Fabric. So the complete architecture, what you are viewing here, okay, end-to-end architecture. So whatever you are just viewing this completely, okay, this is nothing but completely, okay, so this is nothing but your Microsoft Fabric, Microsoft Fabric architecture, Microsoft Fabric architecture. Hope you understood, right? So if you want to basically why we are developing this micro, what is use of this Microsoft Fabric? In order to build this architecture, data science architecture. Hope you understood, right? So with the help of this Fabric, I can build this what you call data science project architecture. Hope you understood, right? So this is the architecture of your Microsoft Fabric. Very, very, very important, sir. Okay. Now, what is the architecture of your Power BI, sir? See, we already introduced you to Power BI, that Power BI is one of the component inside your Microsoft Fabric. But why we should study Power BI? Okay, so why we should start our classes with Power BI? Suppose if you don't know Power BI, okay, what happens? Okay, so see, generally I will say your Power BI is a mother of your Microsoft Fabric. Power BI is a mother of your Microsoft Fabric. Without Power BI, there is no concept of Fabric. But knowingly, unknowingly, I try to make you to understand the Fabric before itself, before making you to understand Power BI, right? So don't worry. So tomorrow, so this is enough for today's class. Okay, tomorrow what we do, we'll try to understand the architecture of your Microsoft Power BI. Okay, and we'll try to what you called understand how this Power BI has given birth to Fabric, how this Power BI has given birth to Fabric, how this Power BI is helping your Microsoft Fabric to implement this end-to-end data science project architecture, how Power BI and Fabric will go parallelly, one after the other. So basically they go hand by hand. Okay, so whenever you go to any companies, whenever whenever you are projecting yourself as a Power BI consultant, they will ask you, did you have a knowledge on your Fabric? Whenever you are a Fabric consultant, they will ask you, do you have a knowledge on your Power BI? So basically the requirements of your Power BI and Fabric will go hand in hand. Hope you understood, right? So that is the reason why, so you need to build a confidence on your Power BI, then you need to get into Fabric. So however, you got a very clear understanding what is the architecture of your Microsoft Fabric, what is the Microsoft Fabric is all about, what is the data science project architecture, what are the different departments are involved, okay, in your data science project architectures. Okay, all these things we have discussed. And basically as a data scientist, what you do, okay, so what is the importance of raw data, how you collect the raw data, all these things, you got certain theoretical information. See, my classes will be theoretical in nature for 2 or 3 basically days. After 2 or 3 days, basically mostly by tomorrow itself, we'll start your practical classes. Okay, so we'll spend enough amount of time on your Power BI, then we'll go on your Fabric, again we spend some time on Fabric, we'll come back to your Power BI, again we go back to Fabric. So like this, we'll be what you called jumping from Power BI to Fabric, Fabric to Power BI. Hope you understood, right? So that you feel confident day by day and really you enjoy the classes. So my request is for everyone, whenever you are join the classes, please join the classes on time. I will wait for 5 minutes. Okay, so I'll start the classes by 8:35. Okay, so please join the classes on time. Okay, so there will be some reminders for you to join the class. Second thing is that please join with the help of your laptops. Okay, or see, basically whenever you are listening the classes, even you can join with mobiles, but that is not a problem. But I'll be taking certain hands-on sessions, practical sessions. I'll ask you to share your screen and do the practicals before me to make you to get acquainted. At that time laptop is very important. Okay, so apart from that, listening and all, you can join with mobiles, but try to avoid mobiles as far as possible. Okay, to make your classes very interactive. Then use Wi-Fi connection. Okay, don't use hotspots, something like that. Use Wi-Fi connections, so that your internet connectivity. See, these are all basically your Fabric. All these are basically what you call the cloud-based tools. They work on Azure platform. Okay, they work on cloud platform basically, right? So you need to have proper internet speed, at least 10 Mbps connections you should have to work properly on your what you call the softwares. Okay, so internet is very important. So these are very mandatory for the classes. Fine. So to make very interactive, and every session is recorded like this. These sessions are recorded, and we'll create one drive for you. We'll create one drive for you. These sessions, every day-to-day recordings will be uploaded to the drive and it will be shared to you. Apart from that, we have, after 1 or 2 days time, I will share you the pre-recorded sessions. I will take your email IDs. I myself will share you the pre-recorded sessions, which are very organized manner. Okay, where whenever you have a time, you can go through the pre-recorded sessions and you can come to the classes to get more information. And I request you to practice. See, whenever I take one class today, so by tomorrow, whenever you are coming tomorrow, you go through the recording once. You try, you spend some time, at least 15 to 20 minutes, on practice, then come to the session. So day by day practice, what happens, you won't lose the grip. So that so today we are in August first week. Mostly I will take you go live in the September last week. Okay, August, September, that is in the end of the second month, we'll go live in the market. Okay, so we'll start real-time projects. We start resume restructuring, LinkedIn restructuring. We go live in the market. When we go live in the market, fatafat you start getting the interview calls. Okay, so the market is very huge demand. Every day you start getting the interview calls. Okay, at that time you should not repent that I didn't prepare, right? So that is the reason why every day. So whenever you start preparing, just half an hour spend on your career. So you really, you'll be in your safe side. After 2 months, really you can start attending the confidence MNC interview companies with a lot of confidence. Otherwise, what happens? Okay, again you will take some time to prepare. Again 1 month will be dragged. Okay, so like that dragging will happen. Hope you understood, right? So that is very important. So this is my advice. And apart from that, any questions till now? Yeah. So this is your notes. So basically, I will be sharing, I will be saving as a 8:30 a.m. class notes. Okay. So basically, I will also share these notes where you need to install your Microsoft Notepad. So basically notebook, okay, in your systems to view these notes. Okay. So yeah, so I'll be sharing after some classes, I'll be sharing these notes. Yeah. Apart from that, any other questions? Any questions? Prasad, Hritik, Jyotish, Sufyan.
No, sir.
Okay, so what about Hritik? What about Jyotish? No, okay, fine. Jyotish. Okay, Sufyan. Yeah. So fine, guys. So tomorrow we'll try to join the same session at 8:30. Try to be on time, and basically we'll try to understand the concept of your Power BI, architecture of your Power BI, and also we'll start your practical sessions. Okay, fine then. So have a nice day.
Sir, recorded when we'll get it on like
1 or 2 days time. Mostly I will share because I don't want to confuse you now. So 1 or 2 days time, I will share you immediately. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.